we have with us Kate Essam of Liberty of London. So Kate works at Liberty of London, but she also partners with a team at Riley Blake Designs, which is how we are able to get access to this lovely, lovely fabric. And so I'm going to read the biography that I have for Kate. So Kate studied textile design for fashion and interiors at Bath in the UK, and then went on to work at a fabric mill in the north of England before getting her job at Liberty, where she's been for 4 years. I'm going to interject that Kate works on the design team at Liberty. So she's in the archives. She's all over the place. She is the one that's on the design team and helping them come up with all of these fantastic and historic designs. She works solely on Lazenby cloth for crafting, which is the fabric that we're using for our London Calling project. And her favorite design she's worked on is Festive Village from the AW25 Festive Greetings, because she was able to incorporate her dog into the design. Okay, so let's bring on Kate. Let's meet this lovely individual that works at Liberty of London. Hello, Kate. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time today to join us.
No, don't be daft. Thank you for asking. It's a pleasure to chat to you.
Yes, same. So I think so you are in London right now. Yes. So you were about 6 to 7 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, six hours, I think. It's 4 p.m.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Good. All right. So Kate, we've talked a lot with our folks over the past couple months about Liberty of London fabric, but I would love to hear from you in your own words. What is the origin story of Liberty of London fabric? How did it get to be a thing?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very interesting question because I feel like there's a lot to that question, but that's, I think, what makes it so special. So it was set up by Arthur Lazenby Liberty, and amazingly, so 150 years ago, which is incredible. But he actually started the first shop a little bit further down the street from where the store is now. So I don't know if anybody's been to the store, but it's very, very beautiful. But he borrowed £2,000 from the man that was going to be his father-in-law to set up the store originally. So he must have trusted him. And then he travelled the world, and particularly to the East. So loved going to Japan and India with his wife, Emma. And they would bring artifacts back to sell in their store.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's how it started, yeah.
That's amazing. So it started out with a little bit of textiles, but it's a home design brand. And I think that's something quilters get fabric, but it's home design and interiors.
Yes. And fabrics, came as well, but initially it was more sort of artifacts from those parts of the world. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So tell us about the fabric. So Liberty is known for its Tana lawn, right? That's the stuff when you go into the shop that people are gravitating. So can you tell us what makes the lawn so unique? How did it get to be this highly sought after brand?
Yeah, so the lawn is anybody that knows it will recognize it just from the touch of it as well as the lovely designs. But that lovely soft feel that you get is very unique and what made Liberty very famous. And so Tana really originally started in the 1930s. And it's named after Lake Tana in Ethiopia, where the cotton was found and was used particularly because the fibres are very long, which makes it have that lovely silk-like feel to it, which other cottons don't have. So yeah, very high thread count, 240 thread count, which is incredible, makes it so luxurious. And we print on it conventionally and digitally. But also we have the Lazenby cotton as well, which is what you're using for your London Calling. So the Lazenby was originally used in 2017, so it's like a new cloth, really. And when you think about how long Tana's been around, but we've created it specifically for the crafting market, so it's a little bit heavier than Tana, but also the designs are more sort of, the scale is more geared towards crafting and quilting, and very different designs that we have on the two cloths, but both work equally as well. And Tana originally was made for more sort of drapery and fashion, but yes, use it for crafting as well.
Crafting and quilting, yes. Okay, so tell us. So you're on the design team. Tell us about the print process, right? So how does in Liberty's world the design go from the sketch to fabric?
Yeah, so The sketch thing is very interesting because actually 90%, sorry, of our designs are still started by hand, which is amazing, really. Liberty have got a very, what's the word? Really value that sort of handmade and hand-designed approach to designs, which I think that you can tell when you look at our cloth, which makes it quite unique. But a lot of the designs as well, even if they're hand painted, a lot of them come from the archive because we've got 60,000 documents in our archive, which is obviously so vast. And so how it all starts really is we'll have a bit of a theme for a collection, and then we have an archivist team, and we go and ask them for because obviously 60,000 documents is a lot for one person to look through, but they know everything that's in there and all the beautiful things. So then they will send archives digitally to the designers to look through.
Okay.
And we whittle it down and repaint and redraw digitally. And then, of course, we go through lots of processes of colouring and, showing different team members and taking on everybody's advice and tweaking and, adding that little bit of extra something special, which is my favourite part. It's like something else, what can we add to this design to make it extra special? And then we have a print mill in Italy, which is very close to Lake Como. So everything is printed there, and it's very much the forefront of the fabric industry in Lake Como. And so all the machines that we have are very specialist machines, and everything gets printed there, and it's absolutely incredible. It's so wonderful, being able to design something and work on something. But when you go to the factory and you see it coming off a machine, it's even more exciting, I would say.
Fantastic. All right. So you've mentioned the archives, and so I'm gonna be the American, right? So you're in London, you've got archives. I'm thinking of some like Dan Brown book, like some dusty library where these archives. And what are the archives, right? I see it on the website, the archives. You mentioned the archives. Is it like this like dusty librarian library? Like tell us what the archives actually are.
Well, so actually we have the back of the store. That's where our offices are. And in the office, we have a small archive, a very small selection of the archive. But the main part of the archive is held elsewhere. It's in an old army hangar, aircraft hangar in Oxfordshire. So I've personally not been there yet. I'm hoping one day I will get to go. But I've seen photos, and it's very much temperature controlled, humidity controlled, to preserve everything that we have in the archive. But it's incredible. We've got these beautiful books, and because when designs were first created, they would obviously print the cloth and then make a record of it in these beautiful books. And yeah, they're very, very old, and they're incredible to look at, and they are quite dusty looking, but in the most beautiful way.
Leather-bound books. Yeah, I mean, so fun. I'm sure they have to wear gloves and handling these textiles.
Yes, exactly that.
So I have two questions. I like both of these questions, so we're gonna pause. So the first is Sandy Short is asking, is there a specific needle size you recommend for stitching with Liberty fabric, specifically the lawn, but then also with our Lazenby? Is there any particular recommendations for needles that you'd recommend?
Not that I'm aware of. When I sew with the lawn, I always use a smaller needle just because it is so fine. I think you could probably use a thicker one for the Lazenby, but yeah, I don't think we recommend a specific one.
Yeah, no, that's good about the smaller, because there's certain sizes like for batiks, right? You need to have a super sharp needle because the thread count is so high. Yes. All right, my second question comes from Kay Smith. She's asking, can you do a factory tour in Lake Como?
Yeah, do you know what? We get asked this all the time. If it happens, I will let you know.
You might need to plan a cotton cuts retreat there. I'm just saying.
Yes.
All right. So let's see here. So, quilting, like you said, so it started out as home design and you've moved into textiles. And now we have this quilting and the crafting cotton. And it has such a devout following. How do you think it got there, and why? Why are people so in love with all of this?
I think there's many reasons. I think one of them is it's so recognizable, Liberty. And I also think because people have a lot of history with Liberty in terms of like, grandmas or mothers making things for them as kids. And I think that we all feel like we have a connection to it and we all know it, which I think is part of the charm of the brand. It's that familiarity, really. And I also think that it is very unique, it is very unique with all the wonderful things that go on in Como and, the ability to print on these cloths and at such beautiful colours. There's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into each design, both from the designing side and the print side. And yeah, and I think that's very special and something that not a lot of brands can offer. And I also think Liberty as a design house really do value all the designers that work there, and everybody is celebrated for having their own unique style. And it's about growing the archive. And I think you can see that with the archive that the fabrics are fabrics, but I think more than that, they're pieces of art. Which I think makes it really special.
And I like that they're collaborative pieces of art. So that's the second time you've mentioned the design team. You're actually working on these fabrics with a team, and you're brainstorming and you're working together on these fabrics. And I think that's not something you hear with a lot of the American design houses. They're independent people that are working in disparate places. And it's more about unique individual voice versus the Liberty of London, which is everyone's representing the Liberty voice, but working collaboratively on it. And so I feel like it's just a different approach to get to a design process that I am appreciating.
Yeah, it is amazing. And also the one thing that always still amazes me is obviously we all paint a lot every day, but if somebody in the studio gets their paints out, even now, some people have been there a long time, people will still walk over and have a look what they're painting. And I think it's that excitement and that magic that really comes across in the fabric. We don't just do it because it's a job, we do it because we love it. And I think that comes across in the designs and the cloth. Yeah,
if you love it, I mean, it's going to be amazing and it's going to be awesome for sure. All right, so talk specifically about the design for Emily Annabelle and Emily Belle. So these are the fabrics that we have chosen for our project. And they sang to me from the very first time I saw them. And then when our sales rep, the lovely Kristen, who is on the chat with us, when she was like, you can order these in large quantities and they're reorderable. I'm like, yes, I am in. We can do something with this. So tell me about Emily Annabelle and Emily Belle. How did they come to be? Give us some inspiration behind some of these fabrics.
Yeah, so Emily Belle, originally it was a print impression from the 1940s. So actually it is very old, which I think is one of the amazing things about it, that, we love it now, but actually it's quite old. And that design was originally called G and Daisy. So it's had name changes since, and it's been used a few times, sometimes in fashion, but it was originally used on Lazenby in autumn winter 17, which was the English garden. So then it was called Emily Silhouette. So that was the first time that we saw it. And that was very similar to Emily Belle now, so like with the colour in the background. But originally that print impression from the 1940s, that was very similar to Emily Annabelle. So the colour was in the flowers. And Emily Belle we have in 42 colours, and it's so fantastic because we sort of use it as a bit of a blender or basic, but also it's very standalone. You can use it, it mixes and matches with other designs, but also works on its own fantastically well. I think that's probably because the amount of information and daisies and, Margaret's different flowers in it are so fantastic. And the more you look at it, the more you see. And I think it's, exactly.
Right.
And then we wanted to do a coloured version, so sort of take it back to how it was in the original print impression, which is when we came up with Emily Annabelle. So that's available in 10 colours.
Yes, fantastic. All right, so right, these cottons, they're printed in Italy, which is very different than traditional quilting cotton, and the designs are very different. We always get asked, how do I take care of my fabric after I've made my quilt? Do you have guidance or recommendations for how we should care for these fabrics once we put them into our quilts?
So that is a great question. And I think, so all like the Tana, for example, and the lace can both be washed at 40. But in terms of if it 40 degrees C, that is.
Yeah, 40 degrees Celsius. I was going to clarify, that's 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remembered who I was doing the call with. And,
okay. We can Google 40 degrees C conversion to Fahrenheit. We'll figure it out. Yes.
But in terms of washing a quilt, I'm not 100% sure, but we do have spec sheets. So if you ever want us to send you any spec sheets of care instructions, we can definitely do that. But all of our fabric goes through rigorous testing and rub tests and all of this, and it's Oeko-Tex approved, so it's all no harmful chemicals and everything.
Right.
So it should stand the test of time. So when you put all this
Oeko-Tex is something that we're starting to see on other designers. Can you talk about how that what the certification means and why it's important?
Yeah, you're right. You do see it a lot more now than we have in the past. And I think it's because people really care about where their fabric has come from. I'm definitely not an expert on the Oeko-Tex thing, but in terms of, I know that there's no harmful chemicals, and it's all better for the environment in terms of the production than things have been in the past.
Yes, and also it's sustainable jobs. It's the whole life cycle of the creation of the material, and to be Oeko-Tex certified, it's really caring about the life cycle of the people involved as well as the materials that are used.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So we had some people that are my Google experts. So it says about 104 degrees Fahrenheit is what they're saying, or roughly 150. Something slightly more than 100 is really the highest temperature you want. And so we've had discussions on our chats in the past about what color fastness is one challenge with temperature, but then also shrinkage of the fabric. And so we'll get the care guides, and we'll make sure that all of the folks participating have access to that. So we make sure that these quilts last as long as we want them to, for sure.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to flip gears a little bit. So tell us about the Liberty of London store. You said your studio is attached to it. I think a lot of quilters, when they travel to London, expect a fabric store. That's what I was expecting when I walked in. That's not what I found. So can you tell us, what is the Liberty of London store in London?
Yeah, so there's lots of different parts to the store. So when you first walk in, you agree to buy the lovely flower shop, which is at the front, and then you go in and there's the atrium. So you can stand at the bottom and look all the way up up to the fourth floor. And there's a lot of wood in the store, which is a lot of the wood is from 2 decommissioned ships. And if you go up to the 4th floor, particularly the 4th floor, you will see that there's a lot of animal carvings on the top, which are so beautiful. And we did actually include these in one of our collections. It was Tree of Life. Yeah, Tree of Life. We included some of those in one of the designs. But yeah, they're absolutely stunning. And actually, we always wonder whether they come alive at night and run around the store.
If it's right at Liberty of London, like, I want that job. I want to be that caretaker, please.
And yeah, there's lots of different departments. So there's like menswear, so it includes a lot of fashion and homeware as well. And then obviously there's the fabric and the haberdashery. And also there's a lot of things that are made with Liberty fabrics as well, and a lot of collaborations that we have that are in store. And scarves. The scarves are beautiful. That's one of my favorite parts of the store. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's wondrous, I would say. And definitely, if you're in London, it is definitely worth the trip. Definitely.
It is definitely worth a stop just to peek in, and just, like you said, even standing in the atrium and looking up the store. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes. A night at the museum style. I love that. Okay. So I always ask folks whenever I'm talking to them about kind of what's next for Liberty of London. If you were to look in your crystal ball, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, even 5 years out, what does that look like for Liberty?
Yeah, well, we've got lots of exciting things in the pipeline, which I can't really say anything about, but with external partners. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. Lots of exciting things coming up. And I also don't know whether you've seen that we've got some lovely threads with Aurifil threads. That was a collaboration that we did recently. So that was all the colours of Emily Belle. So that's an exciting one. And also we do a lot of patterns with our collections, a lot of free patterns and some paid ones as well, which will, new ones of those are always going up on libertyfabrics.com. Yes. So they're always around to, I think that's
one of those, when you're working with these beautiful fabrics, you want to just keep them cut on a shelf because you're afraid to know what to do with them. And I love that your website has so many approachable patterns that are free and to give that inspiration. So it doesn't just collect dust. It doesn't just become that memento. It actually becomes a better memento and a finished quilt design.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I can relate to that. I have got so much cloth, but it's just on my shelves. It's it's an addiction.
I love that this is your job to design, but you're also a fabric collector too. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. It's not just a United States thing, guys. It's a borderless problem, a borderless trait.
It really
all right. So that is all the questions I had for you, Kate. It has been fantastic having you with us today. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I like learning. I did a whole show last week about Savannah and like Savannah facts. And so I love learning stuff. This has been so much fun. I have learned so much from you just now. And I appreciate you sharing that with all of our people. I know we like to just appreciate what we do more than just looking at the pretty fabric. So thank you so much for your time today, Kate.
Thank you. It was wonderful to meet you.
Yes, and I can't wait to see these projects come together. We'll share all the photos we get for sure.
Yes, please do. Please do. I'd love to see. It'll be wonderful.
All right. Fantastic, Kate. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Bye. Kate, she was amazing. You guys, like, that was so lovely. I cannot believe that we get access to someone who's actually designing these fabrics. You guys, she is touching them. She's painting them. You guys, it's fantastic. And so I'm so glad she was able to spend her time with us and give some behind the scenes insights. I like hearing what goes on behind the scene. It's always fantastic. All right, that was a fantastic conversation. And so that brings us to the end of our show today. Don't forget, we have lots of stuff coming out over the next 7 days. We have an after show tomorrow, major signups next week. It's all going to be on social media and in email. So make sure you don't lose track of all of that. And that is it for me, you guys. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. I hope you get tons of sewing in, and we will see you soon.